for the last few years, these waters haven't exactly been calm.
This is unprecedented. In the air and at sea, Taiwan is surrounded.
China has firmly set its sights on Taiwan since the 17th century. It's increasing its fighter jet flights, staging advanced drills, and building its military strength. This growing muscle flexing sends a clear message. Beijing is ready to take Taiwan by force if necessary. But many people wonder why, despite China's assertive ambitions and expansionist tendencies, it hasn't simply invaded and taken over Taiwan yet. Would you believe it? Despite being a mighty superpower, China trembles at the mere thought of attacking this minuscule self-governing island. But why? Let's dig into what stops China from taking over Taiwan and how tough it really is for them. Here's why. First off, if we're talking about China possibly attacking Taiwan, it's not just Taiwan standing alone in defense. Taiwan has some powerful allies on its side. The United States and Japan have pledged to step in and defend Taiwan if it's ever under attack by China. Just under an hour's flight from Taiwan in Okinawa, Japan, there's a base hosting a fleet of US warplanes and around 20,000 Marines. During the Taiwan crisis in 1996, the United States took serious action by deploying 2 aircraft carrier strike groups. Additionally, they could deploy submarines like the USS Ohio or the USS Michigan, which have the capability to launch numerous missiles at Chinese targets if needed. Japan has also been engaged in discussions with Taiwan regarding defense matters. There's concern in Japan that if Taiwan were to fall, their outlying islands might be at risk next. So Taiwan's not going into this fight solo, even though it's a relatively small island. Now, let's talk about geography. The Taiwan Strait, the water body that separates Taiwan from mainland China, stretches about 128 kilometers at its narrowest point. Picture this: ships would have to sail for hours before attempting to land on Taiwan's beaches and ports. That's plenty of time for anyone watching to see them coming. And let's not underestimate Taiwan's capabilities. It's not just some small, insignificant island. Taiwan has a sophisticated air force and defense system. They've got fighter jets, advanced air defense systems like Patriot missiles, and various other assets to protect their airspace, all courtesy of the United States. So if China, the potential invader, wants to take over Taiwan, they'll have to do it mostly by sea, since moving troops and supplies by land would be too slow. But wait, Taiwan's coastline is loaded with anti-ship weapons, making any invasion attempt a risky business. Plus, the layout of the island makes it tough to pinpoint strategic targets. Cities and military bases are spread out, making it difficult for any attacking force to concentrate its efforts. The western edge of Taiwan, which faces China, isn't exactly an inviting place for an invasion either. It's got rivers, cliffs, and canals, making it tricky to mount a successful attack from that side. And if China is eyeing beaches for amphibious landings, they'll find slim pickings. Taiwan's coastline isn't exactly dotted with accessible beaches, which poses another obstacle to any invasion plans. Off the coast of Taiwan, beyond its main island, lie numerous smaller islets scattered throughout the Taiwan Strait. These often overlooked pieces of land are strategically significant, bristling with robust defenses designed to thwart any potential threats from China. Equipped with formidable anti-ship and anti-aircraft systems, along with vigilant radar surveillance, these outposts serve as constant sentinels, closely monitoring Chinese activities and movements in the region. For the People's Liberation Army, or PLA, of China, attempting to seize control of Taiwan's ports and airstrips presents a formidable challenge. The island's defenses are so fortified that any direct assault risks substantial damage to the very infrastructure they seek to capture. It's a perplexing dilemma for the PLA. To gain control, they must engage in a fight they may not easily win, and even if successful, the destruction wrought upon these vital facilities may render them useless for further strategic purposes. Zooming in further, it's essential to understand Taiwan's formidable defense capabilities against China. Over the years, Taiwan has received substantial military support from various allies, predominantly in the form of defensive weaponry. While Taiwan has also developed its own offensive capabilities, its defense strategy primarily revolves around defensive measures. The fact that Taiwan has managed to maintain a credible defense against China is noteworthy and surprising to many observers. Despite China's overwhelming military might, Taiwan has demonstrated resilience and effectiveness in its defense posture. One key factor is the direct military support from the United States and Japan. But even without that, Taiwan is no pushover. It's armed to the teeth with defenses, all geared towards deterring any potential Chinese invasion. From the get-go, Taiwan has been focused on defending itself against Communist China. This determination has been ingrained since its early days when it was known as the Republic of Formosa. Despite China's talk of integration and Xi Jinping's warnings, Taiwan stands firm with its arsenal, including F-16 fighter jets and a robust Patriot missile defense system. Plus, there's this thing called strategic ambiguity from the US. where they've kept their stance on defending Taiwan a bit fuzzy for decades. And let's not forget Japan's role in all of this. It's not just about military support, there's a whole other side to it, focused on trade and business. You see, there's a significant amount of trade happening between China and Taiwan, and China relies on Taiwan for crucial things like microchips. Yep, those tiny but mighty chips are a big deal. Even some of China's missiles use microchips made in Taiwan. It's kind of ironic, right? Over the past few decades, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, has become the world's largest and most advanced semiconductor manufacturer, with Taiwan hosting over 90% of global semiconductor manufacturing. TSMC's pivotal role in the digital economy makes Taiwan crucial to global supply chains. But here's the catch. If China were to invade Taiwan, it would throw global supply chains into chaos. This could lead to serious economic problems like shortages and even recession. A conflict in Taiwan would likely disrupt semiconductor production, possibly damaging or destroying fabrication facilities. Consumer confidence would plummet, and businesses would hesitate to invest in the region. This would hit China's economy hard, as it heavily relies on exports and the steady production of semiconductors from Taiwan. Despite the economic risks, China might still consider invading Taiwan to gain control of its semiconductor facilities. This move could give China dominance in the semiconductor industry and cut off America's access to advanced semiconductors, potentially altering power dynamics in various sectors. Clearly, a conflict between China and Taiwan would be complicated and have serious consequences. Whoever controls the semiconductor supply chain could become the dominant force in the 21st century. While a conflict might seem unlikely now, geopolitical tensions could create conditions for a Chinese invasion. Yet, such an invasion would face enormous challenges and require a massive military effort from China. What's your take on this? Do you think a Chinese invasion of Taiwan is likely? Or is China afraid to attack Taiwan? If you found this information valuable, why not hit that subscribe button? More insights are on the way, and we'd love to have you on board. Cheers!